Hey, welcome back to Visions Now Supper Club. All views expressed for their educational and journalistic purposes, they're not the views of the management, advertisers, and staff of 92.1 FM. However, Visions does desire to bring a quality edutainment program which intellectually stimulates and culturally fulfills our community's needs to develop leadership and informed decision-making for our collective future. Welcome to the village. Often imitated, but never duplicated. I'm Dr. Jaylene Hood, your host and executive producer. Welcome.
We need to work to decolonize the mindset, to overthrow the regime in Upper Volta. It might not be necessary to bring in heavily armed mercenaries. It is simply enough to prohibit the import of champagne or lipstick, I don't know, or nail polish. That's enough to overthrow us. Because the petty bourgeoisie today is convinced that they cannot do without these products. Well, we need to work to decolonize the mindsets. We are working to recondition our people to accept living as they are, not to be ashamed of their realities, to be content with them, and even to take pride in them. It's fine if others live like that, but it's normal for us to live differently. Well, we need to work to decolonize the mindsets.
When I was trying to rebuild the Nation of Islam, it was my brother, Dick Gregory, who offered me space on his farm to go and meditate and get myself together. None of us are here of ourselves. All of us were made by others who helped us to become who and what we are. So for us to get the big head, it's an insult to those who helped to make us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I thank God for Dick Gregory. I thank God for his wisdom and his righteousness.
Yes, sir.
A good man. When I was trying to rebuild the Nation of Islam, it was my brother, Dick Gregory, who offered me space on his farm.
Look at this, y'all. So LeVar Ball exposes how blacks are taught not to work together. Listen to what he got to say about it, and let me know if you agree with him or not.
Wesley Snipes, Denzel Washington, Magic, all of them by themselves, they millionaires. Now the Waltons who own Walmart, that's a family.
And all of them billionaires.
The Hunts who own ketchup and all, Campbell Soup, family. Spielberg's family. Mark Cuban and them, family. Balls together, family. We'll be billionaires. Growing up, we taught as black folks to be that one. That one Mike Tyson, that one Michael Jordan. Everybody taught to be by themselves. We that number one rapper in the hood. We made it out. We like one because we taught to be
one.
Numero uno. Now, what I'm trying to instill in a lot of folks is, let me show y'all what happens when a black family sticks together. Watch this empire we build. And it's going to bring the narrative. Now, a lot of black folks, man,
I'm going to do it too.
We got to stick together. And the only way you're going to get to be in the billions is you got to own something.
The biggest illusion in the black community is black success. Black folks want to be in competition with each other while other races work together to have cultural wealth. Not just generational wealth, but cultural wealth. Competition is a cancerous mindset in the body. When cells forget their purpose and want to be in competition with other cells, that's literally what we call cancer. So in the black community, it's a whole lot of cancerous activity because we're trying to fight for a false sense of power while being ran by another group of people who display power over us systematically. Whole time, the true power comes from us just working together. Did you know that during Black Wall Street, the black dollar stayed in the black community for over a year? Now, fast forward present day, it only stays in our community for 6 hours. Look at this, y'all. So LeVar Ball exposes how blacks are taught not to work together. Listen to what he got to say about it, and let me know if you agree with him or not.
Why is nobody talking about what this freaking gynecologist said? Just fucking watch.
Parasites in your gut are called fatigue, while parasites in your brain are called brain fog and memory loss. Parasites in your liver are called sluggish detoxification, and parasites in your joints are called inflammation and arthritis. Parasites in your skin are called eczema and acne, and parasites in your stomach are called bloating and weight gain. Parasites in your immune system are called chronic infections, and parasites in your digestive tract are called nutrient deficiencies. To detox from parasites, I recommend using a natural herb that's been used for 5,000 years. Of course, I'm talking about moringa. Most people don't realize that moringa has 23 times more iron than spinach, 7 times more calcium than milk, 3 times more magnesium than almonds, 11 times more vitamin A than carrots, 15 times more potassium than bananas, and 9 times more protein than yogurt. Just 2 moringa capsules before bed, and you'll wake up feeling like a whole new person. But be careful though, moringa is getting super popular, and there are a lot of fake companies out there. The only brand I trust is Rosabella Moringa. They third party, tested and sourced from the nutrient-rich trees in the Himalaya.
President Barack Obama raised Assata Shakur's bounty. Remember, the State Department had $1 million bounty on Assata Shakur's head if somebody could bring her back to America to stand trial. $1 million. Barack Obama gets in there, and the FBI under Barack Obama, he's the president, they serve him. Under Barack Obama, the FBI raised the bounty on Assata Shakur's head, Art, from $1 million to $2 million. That's what Barack Obama did for Black America. He refused to exonerate the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, did nothing about police genocide, but made it more difficult for you to sue police for brutalizing you unjustifiably when he signed that Blue Alert law. Remember, he signed that law that made it almost impossible for you to defend yourself against police assault. President Barack Obama did that. So he was the last person to push Kamala Harris. Here's the problem, Art. The Black bourgeoisie failed to recognize that the people, the Black people who voted for Barack Obama, were not the young people who will be voting now. The young people who voted for Obama are the parents. It is their children who are the young people now. And they have already seen how Obama did not serve Black people, and they were not going to fall for the same scam again. President Barack Obama raised Assata Shakur's bounty. Remember, the
Back from Africa in 1958, I was research director of an African heritage exposition at the World's Trade Show building on 8th Avenue. Malcolm X would come in sometime twice a day, sometime once a day, to see how the exhibition was getting along. And then about the second visit, he noticed me and We began to talk. And when he discovered my proficiency in history, which is something I've taught most of my adult life, he began to ask me questions about history. And later on, when he started making speeches on history, he asked me to compile folders on different aspects of history. I came back from Africa in 1958.
Our current political leaders, I was asked the day before yesterday, what is the dominating system of government in Africa? And I said, it is kakistocratic kleptocracy. And I had to break it down. I told them, kakistocracy is a government led by your very worst. And kleptocracy is a government led by thieves like Mobutu Sese Seko Kukumbendu wa Zambanga. Look at our current political leaders. I was asked the day before yesterday, what is the dominating system of government in Africa? And I said, it is kakistocratic kleptocracy. And I had to break it down. I told them, kakistocracy is a government led by your very worst. And kleptocracy is a government led by thieves like Mobutu Sese Seko Kukumbendu wa Zambanga. Look at
Africa does wrong, does bad, the whole planet goes wrong. Because it's the richest continent on the planet. Without the resources of Africa, you won't even have France. You won't have Belgium. You won't have Europe, period. You won't have America because we built American economy. Our ancestors, my ancestors, Africans, your ancestors built the wealth of the rich country today. If Africa does wrong, does bad, the whole planet goes wrong. Because it's the richest continent on the planet. Without the resources of Africa, you won't even have France. You won't have Belgium. You won't have Europe, period. You won't have America because we built American economy. Our ancestors, my ancestors, Africans, your ancestors built the wealth of the rich country today. If Africa does wrong, does bad, the whole planet goes wrong.
Any man who sells land sells the future of his own children. Our land is sacred to us. We don't own our land owns us. From it we came, to it we shall return. Any man who sells land sells the future of his own children. Our land is sacred to us. We don't own our land owns us. From it we came, to it we shall return. Any man who sells land sells the future of his own children. Our land is sacred to us. We don't own our land owns us.
I learned that there were approximately ships that brought 12.5 million Africans to the Americas. She got 12,000 ships. What I realized was that I could not tell you the name of a single one of those ships growing up, but I could tell you about the Mayflower. I could tell you about the Titanic. I could tell you about all these other ships that were considered important, but I couldn't name one of those.
One of 12,000.
That didn't feel right to me. So it's the first stat. The second one, and this is the one that sits heaviest on my heart, I learned that there were 1.8 million Africans who died just in the crossing from Africa to the Americas. We're not talking about the number of people who died once they arrived and were enslaved. Just in the
transition.
I didn't know it was 1.8 million people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was like, where are the Where the memorial? Who's honoring that enormous loss of life?
Mhm.
I was like, there are chapters of history that are just missing. So this work felt really important to me to be a part of. I learned that there were approximately 12,000 ships that brought 12.5 million Africans to the Americas.
To say, hey, look at me. We the only criminals want the light on us. We saw the movie American Gangster.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck. They didn't know who the fuck Frank Lucas was until he showed up there. Man, who that motherfucker, that goddamn mink coat right there? God damn. Who the fuck is that?
Got the best seats in the house.
Nigga, we show up with the big old change, nigga, in the car. Nigga, you think them people ain't in them clubs saying, hey, look at that guy.
Yeah, nigga, what Texas he felt?
If you think the club owner ain't got a partnership with the FBI, nigga, when they taking pictures. If you think the FBI ain't in the club, if you think they ain't got an FBI stripper, if you think they ain't got a CIA rapper, if you ain't think they ain't got an FBI record label, y'all a goddamn fool to be on here confessing, nigga. We are the only criminals that say, hey, look at me.
When you really look at the stats, especially this conversation of six figures, you got to make sense.
We were talking about that too. Yes.
The thing is, if you look at the stats, the average man in America doesn't even make $70,000 a year like that. And then studies show that 21% of men that make $100,000 a year, there's only 21%. Out of that 21%, only 8% are black men. So people are getting married every day. Everybody's not marrying somebody with six figures. So where is all of this coming from? I believe women don't know how to articulate, I'm looking for someone that is secure. Because you can be with somebody that may not be six figures and he's still stable and have less debt than you do. But I don't think people are looking at what's really going on when you really look at, and I believe when you really look at the stats, especially this conversation of six figures, you got to make sense.
We were talking about that too. Yes.
The thing is, if you look at the stats, the average man in America doesn't even make $70,000 a year like that. And then studies show that 21% of men that make $100,000 a year, there's only 21%. Out of that 21%, only 8% are black men. So people are getting married every day. Everybody's not marrying somebody with six figures. So where is all of this coming from? I believe women don't know how to articulate, I'm looking for someone that is secure. Because you can be with somebody that may not be six figures and he's still stable and have less debt than you do. But I don't think people are looking at what's really going on when you really look at, and I believe when you really look at,
Nobody never heard of me. Nobody even knew who I was. It was quiet. I was a ghost. Nobody never heard of me until Meech brought the heat in Atlanta. Meech was in Atlanta and he didn't believe in taking one day rest. He's in every club, the hottest clubs in Atlanta every night. I think Meech, since we were kids, maybe just wanted to be recognized. People don't look at you when you come up as poor as Meech and I came up. I just think we were invisible so long that he's, hey, you can see me now, look at me, I win it. For years, nobody never heard of me. Nobody even knew who I was. It was quiet. I was a ghost. Nobody never heard of me until Meech brought the heat in Atlanta. Meech was in Atlanta and he didn't believe in taking one day. Meech and I came up. I just think we were invisible so long that he's, hey, you can see me now, look at me, I win it. For years.
'80s, the government smuggled drugs into the Black community on purpose. You heard that right. It explains that back in the 80s, the government directed the DARE program specifically to our communities. They would bring black boxes with the goods in it, show it off to all the kids, and then entice them to snitch on their families. Y'all, it's even documented that the kids they brought the DARE program to, actually more likely to actually start taking we just don't call them rugs. They took the rugs. My sisters and I would have never known about this unless we started reading Black AF history together. So good. It's educational, awakening. It's just downright empowering. Grab a couple copies of Black AF history, force your family to start that book club, and strengthen our community from within. And tell your kids, if it's white and speaking from authority, it most likely ain't right. In the 80s, the government smuggled drugs into the Black community. On purpose. You heard that right. It explains that back in the 80s, the government directed the DARE program specifically to our communities. They would bring black boxes with the goods in it, show it off to all the kids, and then entice them to snitch on their families. Y'all, it's even documented that the kids they brought the DARE program to, actually more likely to actually start taking we just don't call them rugs. They took the rugs. My sisters and I would have never known about this unless we started reading Black AF history together. So good. It's educational, awakening. It's just downright empowering. Grab a couple copies of Black AF history, force your family to start that book club, and strengthen our community from within. And tell your kids, if it's white and speaking from authority, it most likely ain't right. In the 80s, the government smuggled drugs.
Most children, especially boys, they get to an age where they don't care about the parent that stayed. A lot of y'all be thinking that y'all mommy of the year because y'all are the parents that's carrying the weight. They get to an age where they don't care. They actually resent you because of the parent that left or because of that parent that y'all shut out. When they're 13 and 14, especially boys, and y'all no longer have control because they don't stay babies forever, and you're crying out to a community, trying to find a community to help you, and you're like, well, I did the best I can. What did I do wrong? What you did wrong was that when they were toddlers and they were little babies, you felt like your way of parenting was the only way of parenting. I'm team, let these men raise these boys. Most children, especially boys, they get to an age where they don't care about the parent that stayed. A lot of y'all be thinking that y'all mommy of the year because y'all are the parents that's carrying the weight. They get to an age where they don't care. They actually resent you because of the parent that left or because of that parent that y'all shut out. When they're 13 and 14, especially boys, and y'all no longer have control because they don't stay babies forever, and you're crying out to a community, trying to find a community to help you, and you're like, well, I did the best I can. What did I do wrong? What you did wrong was that when they were toddlers and they were little babies, you felt like your way of parenting was the only way of parenting. I'm team, let these men raise these boys. Most
all the things that our mother tell us to do does not help us to be better men. As a matter of fact, the things that our mothers try to raise us to be, she's raising us to be the kind of men she wouldn't even date. She raising him to be this weak man that she wouldn't even date her motherfucking self. A mother's love is not sufficient enough for a boy. People think mother's love is not sufficient. He have to have some type of male love, and it has to be consistent to even balance out the consistency of a mother's love. Without that balance, mothers ruin boys. You love on them too long, you ruin them. At some point, he has to go through some training or some discipline, some hard teachings. Man, I ain't never been spanked by a man.
I ain't never had a hug from a man. I ain't never heard a man say, I'm proud of you. It was all mama. All the things that our mother tell us to do does not help us to be better men. As a matter of fact, the things that our mothers try to raise us to be, she's raising us to be the kind of men she wouldn't even date. She raising him to be this weak man that she wouldn't even date her motherfucking self. A mother's love is not sufficient enough for a boy. People think mother's love is not sufficient. He have to have some type of male love, and it has to be consistent to even balance out the consistency of a mother's love. Without that balance, mothers ruin boys. You love on them too long, you ruin him. At some point, he has to go through some training or some discipline, some hard teachings. Man, I ain't never been spanked by a man. I ain't never had a hug from a man. I ain't never heard a man say, I'm proud of you. It was all mama. All the things that our mother tell us to do does not help us to be better men. As a matter of fact, the things that our mothers try to raise us to be, she's raising us to be the kind of men she wouldn't even date. She raising him to be this weak man that she wouldn't even date her motherfucking self. A mother's love is not sufficient enough for a boy. People think mother's love is not sufficient. He have to have some type of male love, and it has to be consistent to even balance out the consistency of a mother's love. Without that balance, mothers ruin boys. You love on them too long, you ruin him. At some point, he has to go through some training or some discipline, some hard teachings. Man, I ain't never been spanked by a man. I ain't never had a hug from a man. I ain't never heard a man say, I'm proud of you. It was all mama. All the things that our mother tell us to do does not help us to be better men. As a matter of fact, the things that our mothers try to raise us to be, she's raising us to be the kind of men she wouldn't even date. She raising him to be this weak man that she wouldn't even date her motherfucking self.
Okay, my mic, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Welcome back, Brother Gregory.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. A lot of happened.
Yeah. Do you know the story of Juneteenth? When the enslaved found out that they were free. 2 years after 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation.
Freedom. What does it mean to be free? Are you born with it? Is it God-given? Or is there a cost to be free? The Constitution said we were 3/5 human. How can it be? Democracy built on stolen land. Freedom is a right, not a privilege. Freedom from false restrictions. Skin color, birthplace, respect the ways we're all different. Let's take it back about 100 years. Quick, let me paint this picture. America in the Civil War, no Marvel movie, this history. President Lincoln had a plan to end slavery only in the South. But black folks, when they heard about it, start spreading that word of mouth. Picked up arms and joined the Union to fight for their own freedom. The colored troops helped win the war, gave the proclamation new meaning. Yeah, you better believe it.
Do you know the story of Juneteenth? When the enslaved found out that they were free. 2 years after 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation.
Justice. When have we seen it and known it? Who are the ones who have grown it? Took it from notion to showing what's us. Let's talk about soldiers who were free, risking their lives for people like me. All the kinfolk they may never know. Took a lead that we all could follow. Following the call for what? Justice. Forget the land, it was for the enslaved. When you think about this proclamation, the emancipation is knowing that we were the brave. 200,000 soldiers organizing, women and children home strategizing. Paid for protest, learned to address the power of truth and the culture uprising.
Do you know the story of Juneteenth? When the enslaved found out that they were free. 2 years after 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation.
Can't stop that joy.
Freedom is not individual, it's collective.
Can't stop that joy.
Freedom is not individual, it's collective.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Freedom is not individual, it's collective. Freedom is not individual.
When you think about Juneteenth, remember how we freed ourselves, how we stayed prepared. We will prevail because we tip the scales, closing all the jails, and we will not fail.
You believe, you dream, you move, you serve. For those bads, for our culture, no one left behind. We can be sure. We stand, we rise, we on that joy ride. We stand, we rise, we on that joy ride. We stand, we rise, we on that joy ride. We on that joy ride.
Now you know the story of Juneteenth. When the last enslaved knew that they were free. We led ourselves to victory. Victory, victory. Do you know the story of Juneteenth? When the enslaved found out that they were free.
Hello, Visionaries. This is Dr. J. Aleem Hood, the host and executive producer for Visions Now, and also your Mystic brother. That's right, with the Mystic Moment, 92.1 FM, smooth R&B, every Thursday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we're the one that said, help us help you. And what we're trying to do is that we're trying to get money into our community. We spend too much money with other people that don't do nothing for our community. All of this water here, that we are here for fundraisers for you, okay, to help us provide resources for our programs for our young people. We were just in Elizabeth County yesterday. We're going to be going to Warren Williams, going to be going to Fowley Homes. We're coming to a neighborhood near you. But the bottom line is that you have an athletic team. They need to be drinking real water. This is water not from Walmart. This is from the Black Wall Street Network. We have to bring our dollars back home. We're making everybody rich, okay, and also making us emotionally poor because we don't support each other. So if you have a business out there, restaurant, or you know somebody, or you just want to get some water for your own personal use, this is the best water in the business. None better. God made this water. It's artesian spring water. Artesian. Don't go by just I'm not gonna call no name. That blue bottle and them all these other jackleg bottles. No. This is the real water. Hello, Visionaries. Welcome to another session of Visions Now, your supper club. And we hope that you're enjoying our little real party. And of course, you're welcome to call in and express yourself.
And that number is 706 221 4830, 706 221 4830. Peace, Brother Lemaine. And of course, we'd like to probably sometime have Brother Lemaine come on and talk to you a little bit, because we talked a lot in the past about what we need to do to save our young people, because that it's like it's like was in the old days. Is they kill all the boy babies, and they done came up with a system that boy babies killing each other. Julian, that part, right? So and also Columbus, Georgia. I'm gonna say this, and I would pass the word. Do you care about the Liberty Theater? Do you care about the economic opportunity and the economic dynamic that we have by having a Liberty Theater where we can do things, we can have our events, we can make money, and the money goes back into our own institution? Well, we're just so used to spending money and we don't get no return off of it. We're not adding no value to our own situations. So I just don't know what's in our mind, really. But before I go any further, I want to let you know this date. Medgar Evers, civil rights leader, assassinated in Jackson, Mississippi on this day, June 12th, 1963. And I remember vaguely that day when it took place, because during 1963, I was in the 10th. I think I was in the 10th, 9th, 10th grade. And I remember, every day with our family, we used to sit down and we used to watch the news together. And as a matter of fact, when I went into the prison today, and I was telling the guys that, and also the other day as well, that they need to, when they get out and they're going to be leaders of their families, they need to make sure that daily, when they're there, that all the other televisions and the phones, everything put down, that all the children and family are in one room together and watching some program together. In particular, all I said, the news. They need to watch the news, and he needs to explain to them what from his understanding, what is going on, what does it mean for them, and that type of thing. Because, that was very valuable to me. What about you, Julian? When you growing up, did y'all sit down and watch the news together? Or?
We did not.
Okay. But you understand what I'm saying? Many times it was sitting down, because that was at that time, that was on TV we had. We had one TV, wasn't a lot of other TV. Yeah. And so you got into the news and the weather. I really got into the weather. Right. Still into the weather. Yeah. Like learning Doug Wallace. He used to be on TV at that time, way back in then. Patsy Avery, she was the news lady. Also, last time I saw her before she passed, she was a substitute teacher with Fox Elementary. There by your old neighborhood, nearby anyway. And so, but again, we listen to the news, and that's why we realized what was going on in the world. Right. Like to a great, these children these days, they don't really know what's going on. Because they're just listen to people like them who don't know what's going on. Right. So they spend all this time on social media. But it don't make.
Have you heard about the thing going on in LA? I think he said it was a riot. It was rioting or something.
Yeah, I heard that they were causing it. They wanted to make a riot out of it.
Okay, they want. Okay, yeah.
They're trying to bait them into a riot.
Okay.
Because really they really wasn't no riot. It's a protest, and it's a little frosty. Yeah. But the state and the city said we can handle this. Right. We handle worse than this all over the city. We can handle this little protest. Okay. And but there are other forces that are saying, well, look, they wanted to see how much power they can exercise because the governor didn't want them in, so they just forced their way in, that. Yeah. So it's not good. It's not a good situation at all.
Being able to break that down, explain what's going on.
Yeah. And now again, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm perfectly honest with you. I'm gonna grab out some things I want to put on our announcement. So I'm gonna see if I can put them up here if I can. But I tell you, I'm not really sure. I have not really heard I don't know. I'm a little, and I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just trying to be honest. I know that the Hispanic community is a part of our global community. I feel that way, but I'm not sure if they feel that way
about us.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Now, it might vary different places, but I have not felt like they've really come to us saying, "Hey, look, in other words, I hear many times on TV in a discussion, I hear us saying the black and brown community, but I don't know if I ever hear them saying the brown and black community.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, help me, Julia. I don't.
They don't consider us that their fight. Meanwhile, we consider it.
I mean, no, we fight for everybody. I mean,
right, exactly.
But I'm not sure if they. I mean, I'm not. Again, somebody out there call in. I mean, because I might have it twisted. I'm just trying to say. I'm just telling you what, from what I've been able to hear, what I've heard us talking about it, but I have not really heard, them saying, yeah, that they, that they. That they invited, wanted us, that's our support. I mean, I have not heard it. Now, I'm not saying it's not there. And again, I don't know, you can do some quick research and Google it and see if there's something that makes you think that they, invited us into that, discussion. I mean, to be a part of that, but I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, but, in terms of what's going on with that. There's some events coming up. One is June 19th at Pierce Chapel Global Methodist Church, 5122 Pierce Chapel Road. And it says that join us for our annual Juneteenth celebration at Pierce Chapel. This year's theme, Freedom, History, Culture, and Resilience, invites us to honor the legacy of our ancestors while embracing the enduring strength and creativity that continue to define the African American experience. It goes on to say that be part of a powerful day that bridges past and present, fostering hope for the future. Experience the depth of our community's rich history through live storytelling, dramatic reenactments, soulful musical performances, powerful poetry, and spirited choral singing. Explore our collective heritage with genealogy insights and celebrate the enduring contribution of African American culture, traditions, and innovations. Come witness history come alive, a vibrant celebration of faith, freedom, and the resilient spirit that continues to shape our world. And now I don't see a telephone number on here, but I know who's involved, but I don't see a telephone number. This is June 19th, and they're inviting, and then there's going to be another June 21st, a statewide community session. It says that, now this is the 21st, this is Saturday. I guess that's that Thursday, or what day is that?
Yeah, so that's
Thursday, okay. That would be, so therefore, think we can do our broadcast from there or something like that? To cover some of that or something?
Possibly. Could.
Okay, I'm just trying to say, because that other, that's the same time I would like to, maybe, bring some of those in there. This one says Saturday, June 21st, from 2 to 4, location Greater Shady Grove, Missionary Baptist Church, 3000 12th Avenue. So join us for an impactful statewide gathering of grassroots organizations, preservationists, historians, educators, archivists, and citizens coming together to launch the Georgia Black History Trail Initiative, beginning right here in Harris County, Georgia. This community session marks the inaugural effort to connect and preserve Black heritage sites, stories, legacies, etc. I'm trying to see if I don't see a telephone number on here, but whether you're a local leader, cultural keeper, student, genealogist, or simply a passionate advocate, your voice is vital to this journey. Let's celebrate our progress and knowledge and work ahead and unite around a shared vision to ensure that Georgia's Black history is preserved, honored, and carried forward. For more information, contact info at ChipleyHistoricCenter.org. and this is being sponsored partially by the National Religious Partnership for the Environment and the Hamilton Hood Foundation and the Chipley Historical Foundation. Now I'm gonna call, see if I can call my cousin and see if she answers the phone. I don't know, but we didn't plan this, but I think that she needs to. Was that? Hey, oh, hello, Amy Fletcher. How you doing? Peace, sister. Would you want to chime in? Feel free to let us know. You can give a call at 706-221-4830. Dr. Anantin, okay, is with us. And of course, if you'd like to come on in and share your thoughts about Juneteenth, about the relationship between the Afro descendants and the Latino descendants. I mean, again, like I said, I see that. I think of them being a part of the melanated world, but I'm not sure if they themselves in that same way. So I don't know if you have some thoughts about it. You know, I certainly would like for you to give us a call and let us know what your feelings are. Let's see here. If I can call my cousin, Mona. Okay, let's see if I can get her on here by any chance. Let me see. If I can call her. By the way, well, again, we love to have you all come on and kind of be a part of what's going on with us. And again, what's going on, cousin?
We need to get on the radio.
We on the radio. We on the radio now. I said I was just giving the commercial. I said I need to get on the radio and explain some of this stuff because some of it I'm not up on. I said I'm gonna give a call, and because next Thursday going to be the 19th. And right. Well, that's what we're talking about. And then we talked about the statewide community session. So you just need to take a moment here and let us know. I mean, really break it on down exactly a little bit better than I did. I gave the broad thing, but you can put some flavor to it. And, again, I don't know. You want to send the link or you want to be on the phone? How you want to do it, Junior?
I can send it to her.
Oh, okay. Can you do? Are you okay being like we're doing it now? You want the link?
This is fine. Right now, because guess what? Right now.
I know. Oh, you got a vanity issue.
Yes.
I get. And I know my cousin. I know how these divas are. I mean, I ain't tripping now. I mean, I get it. So let's start with the one I had. The first one that Julian. Okay. Now this one. Again, is the celebration June 19th, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Oh man, that's okay. You gonna do all this in an hour?
Listen, when I tell you, we are very conscious of the time. The program flows so smoothly and people are engaged the entire time. Yes, we're going to do it within an hour. We've done so in the past 4 years, and we plan on staying on schedule with it this year, simply because a lot of people in the community come out to celebrate Juneteenth with us, Freedom's Legacy.
Of course.
Yes, it's what we're calling it this year. So Freedom's Legacy at Pierce Chapel. They lead work with their lunch break. And
right.
And so we try to be, cognizant of that and respectful of people.
Okay, I see, calibrated.
But I tell you, it is an immersive program. It is an immersive celebration. People always leave lifted and knowing more about one of the oldest African-American communities in Western Georgia, Harris County, Georgia.
You know what? I just thought about something. You know, today I always go into the prisons and I go into the prisons from 12 to 3.
Yes.
But I just remembered that it's a holiday, so therefore I'm not going to go next Thursday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come by, and I guess I'm going to try to video and play it back to that evening during my radio time.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I just thought I'm glad I was just saying, I said, damn, I can't, doggone it, I can't make it. Then I remember, wait a minute, that's right, we're not going next Thursday, so this would be perfect, you know. And are you gonna have food there too?
Well, we typically don't have food.
Oh, okay.
But you know, the Buffalo Soldiers travel from Atlanta. So the 9th and 10th Cavalry Regiment, they travel from Atlanta, Georgia. And sometimes, you know, if there's time, we may all get together, whoever wants to go, get together and go and have lunch someplace.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, now, you said that, start off by saying, be a part of a powerful day, that bridges past and present, fostering hope for the future, sparing the depth of community-rich history through live storytelling. Okay, so what we're gonna tell live storytelling. What tell us a little bit about storytelling?
So storytelling is, you know, we partner with local actors in Columbus, Georgia, to present monologues. And so this information comes from the genealogy research that we've done all year long on the Pierce Chapel African American community. And so they project the life stories of this lesser known community, people that were really pivotal in the community, people that helped to make the community what it is today. And this year we are especially excited about it because we will be sharing the story of Miss Lou Ellen Holcomb Roberts, who was a Black midwife in Columbus, Georgia. Born in Harris County, she started practicing midwifery, in Harris County, Georgia. That was passed down from her mother. And then she later moved to East Highland in Columbus, Georgia, and continued to do so. And I'm told by some of her family members that if you were born before 1950 in Columbus, Georgia, there's a good chance that Miss Lou Ellen, or Miss Lou, as people called her affectionately, was your midwife and helped to deliver.
Well, I'm sure my people, our people in East Highland, since we got some East Highland. And by the way, did you know this weekend we're gonna have a picnic up in East Highland? We're gonna have a community day up in East Highland. So that this is well. Now I'm gonna ask you a question here, because you know, the cemetery is an African burial cemetery, right?
Yes.
Okay, because that was before we actually we became Americans.
Yes.
Okay, so that I just kind of wanted to make that little distinction for people that we have roots. You know, we were Africans, and then after the Emancipation Proclamation, which we talking about a little bit about Juneteenth today, a little bit like that. Then that's when we became Americans after some of those constitutional amendments. So, and I'm really very, very proud of the African the part that we, you know, that. But I think, and this is just me now, but I think it in these times we need to be reminded that we are Africans. You know, I mean that, you know, and that we're Africans in America, because I think that sometimes we spend so much time trying to assimilate into America that we forget that we are part of a community. And I think that by us doing events like this reminds us that we were Africans first and Americans second.
Right. Well, you know, to expand on that, and I thank you for sharing that. Pierce Chapel African Cemetery is a true testament to that. And I say that because the landscape is reflective of the West African cultural traditions that were still carried on, still practiced by our ancestors. And so for Juneteenth, again, all of this, the commemoration, the storytelling, the reenactments by the Buffalo Soldiers, the music that we have, West African drums, the poetry, all of it is in the spirit of Juneteenth that reminds us of the resilience of our ancestors and the hope that they carried for us. And I often tell people that hope, oftentimes you can see it at the cemetery. You can see it in the landscape.
No doubt about it. And you can't walk that cemetery really without reflecting on what it looked like maybe maybe 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you really kind of get a feel for that, as you just kind of walk through and kind of see kind of how, even though it had been neglected, and of course we're in the process of trying to resurrect our memory of it, and of course you've been hands and knees deep in resurrecting, a profile, a literal profile that would make it a resting place of sorts where a person could go and kind of meditate and maybe I guess I don't know, maybe like a little spring we throw pennies in or something. I don't know, but again, my point is that a place where you can kind of I think about it many times when they talk about the door of no return, and then in West Africa, and so it's almost like kind of like walking into it, even though it's not the door, but it's kind of like walking back into our life, and imagining at that time also the sacrifices many times of death, with people trying to escape and go north many times, or just what the day-to-day life was like, in this particular area. And so I'm just delighted and very proud of the work that you put in. And again, it's like it's like people are prepared for moments and times like these, and so therefore, had your life been different, meaning that had you not made the choices that you made, then you wouldn't have had the linkages that you have, and then therefore you wouldn't have had the interest maybe that you have, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation. But the God is good, and God is good all the time, and even when we don't realize God's being good, He's being good. Now, you said the drummers, they coming down from Atlanta too?
So this year we have local drummers, local West African drummers that will be performing with us, and we'll also have a special performance by Brooke Alford, a violinist who is traveling from Atlanta, Georgia. So we are excited about that. I'm excited about again the immersive program that we have coordinated, which seeks to bring this rich history to life. And so our goal in all of this is not just to remember the past, but to celebrate it, to honor it, and to ensure that it continues to inspire future generations.
Okay, that's the part. As a matter of fact, that's really where my discussion today was going, and that is that what took place then, and to assure of our emancipation. And I let people know many times that we were not free. We emancipated ourselves, and the proclamation merely affirmed the fact that we had already freed ourselves. That did not free us. We had already struck that blow for freedom, and we were not, and so my point is that it's not over, and we got to somehow get our children reconnected as it was in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, but we got to disconnect from the 80s and 90s and 2000s with our generational children. They got to be able to identify with this movement And I think the events like this certainly are very, very critical to bringing forth this type of understanding. Now, the other thing that's coming up here is on the 21st. That's Saturday.
Yes. Yes.
Now, now there are 3 organizations. By the way, this other thing. Have you heard about the new edition of research that the Ancestry.com has done? Apparently, there's some documents that I mean, they say it was like like thousands of documents that would help for those of us who are doing genealogical research and things of that sort. Have you heard about that?
So there are some. Yes, we've actually gained access to some through the Freedmen's Bureau. And so we will have someone at Pierce Chapel on Thursday for the Freedom's Legacy, Juneteenth commemoration, talking about the Freedmen's Bureau. So the bond with the Bureau is the title of the talk, and how the papers, the Freedmen Bureau's papers, still carry the legacy of Juneteenth forward today. And so a lot of these documents recently have been scanned and generated and made available to the public. We use them and look forward to using more of them to help tell the story of not just our family members, but this entire community. That was an integral part of making the community what it is today. And so, for example, I think the person Patty Householder, who is with the Family Search Center in Auburn, Alabama. She'll be speaking on, how these documents from the Freedmen's Bureau documented marriages, births, hospital visits, bank accounts, the establishment of bank accounts, land ownership, families reconnecting, people that perhaps were sold away to Texas and other
right.
states.
Yeah, and that's what I was hearing them say was that even there, for example, if there were family members that were sold here and then they were sold there, that these documents would also allow us to track, the journey. Because I know we had a relative who had done some of this. They had tracked the ship that came from the Cameroons in West Africa into Virginia was the entrance for on the Watt Blandon side of the family had come in through Virginia and different stops that they made. I mean, that was sold to different people and eventually ended up here in this part of Georgia. So I don't know. And I guess on the Hood side, we should be able to do much more than we've done previously with these new documents, huh?
Exactly.
And another thing is that there was something that now understand. I read something today that somebody that was over the African burial office or something that was closed down today.
I'm not familiar with that story.
Oh, okay. Well, I just saw it. The news brief said it was that the government had closed. It was an African burial center or something, but where it was an office of African burial. But Junior, will you Google that and see what you come up with? But I was doing. That's another thing I wanted to ask you about if you knew much about that. But tell me a little bit about the Chipley Historical Center and the National Religious Partnership for the Environment. And of course, we're going to end with more information on the Hamilton Hood Foundation.
Oh, yes, thank you. And so, yes, we have formed an alliance, if you will, to coordinate the Pathways to Preservation Georgia Black History Trails statewide community session. And so we are inviting all grassroots organizations, preservationists, conservationists, historians, educators, archivists, and citizens to join us for the inaugural launch of the Georgia Black History Trail Initiative. And this the initiative will begin in Harris County moving outward. So we know that there are grassroots organizations. We know that there are cultural landmarks, historical sites of African American heritage throughout the state of Georgia, but there is not one location where citizens of the state of Georgia or people outside of the state of Georgia who may be interested in visiting these sites, there's not one place that they can go and get all of this information.
Right.
So it is kind of fragmented, if you will.
Well, no doubt about
so,
it.
Yeah. So yes.
No, I was gonna say, do we have a news flash, Julian?
Yeah, for the African Burial Ground National Monument, just said this.
Can you hear?
Yes, yes.
Okay, go right ahead.
Memorial is closed until further notice, but it doesn't say why.
Okay, give the name or get the proper name because Mona can find out.
The African Burial Ground National Monument.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it's closed momentarily. They didn't say why, but I saw that and I said I'm gonna check up to see if Mona knew about that. For sure, because I didn't know how that would affect the work that that's going on in this area.
Thank you, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Our work has been impacted by most recently by some of what's going on with the executive orders that have been signed, in that funding has been cut. So funding has been cut right now for historical and cultural preservation. And so there are many organizations across the United States that are trying to, re-strategize how we continue doing this work, because this work is important. And these sites are important. These communities are important. And so the effort remains, let me just say that, the effort remains. And I think the passion and desire to keep doing this work certainly remains. But we're just having to reimagine how we're going to continue doing it.
Right. Because I have, me, I always got ideas for my training and my background is I never met a problem that I didn't like, because I was taught a long time ago, for every problem, the solution to the problem is in the problem. So I say this to say this, say that to say this. There are a couple of things I think need to take place. One is, I think there needs to be a massive meeting of our ministerial community and put forth whereby they would then contribute to some way to these initiatives. And I think that, and I'm thinking that we'd also need to link these things with HBCUs. So I'm going to lay that to you, and I got some thoughts about how to do that. But I want to lay that to you because I know you, just as a paradigm shift here, and I think that we need to bring it home, so to speak, in some respect, and ground it. And even though in the future as we move back out, we're still going to stay grounded in our faith institutions and in our historically educational institutions. And I think the students, labor, I think school assignments, I think things like that are very important. By the way, Dr. Akhenaten, if you want to jump in sometime, just let me know in some of this.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I was listening, and I heard what was being said about reparations. And the last thing I heard before my computer decided to take a break was about the spiritual leaders, and that we
not spiritual leaders, religious leaders.
Religious leaders, absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
I want to get it twisted.
Yeah, okay, go twisted up. And one of the things about telling the truth about the Bible, I stand on about the truth and knowledge of self.
That's right.
And I always talk about Revelation 1:14 through 15. But other things about making sure reparations are tied into Juneteenth celebration. and make sure that never leaves our lips. Plant a seed for a tree that we won't see grow. I got a little nephews and nieces about 10 years old that get in their head that we should receive reparations for what happened to us in Africa and here as well. And I think that should be something that's emphasized with Juneteenth. And I just hope that we celebrate Juneteenth like we celebrate 4th of July.
Right. Well, I hope that we celebrate it better than 4th of July. But of course, I celebrate 4th of July before the founding of the Nation of Islam, but I don't celebrate it. I'm like Frederick Douglass on the other one. I ain't lost nothing in that other 4th of July.
Right,
you know.
right.
But let me just say something about the reparations. I think this work here, myself, this is my personal view. I think this work here that Cutting Mona and others who are doing this kind of work, I think this has to do with what I call internal reparations. Because my thing is that I don't think that we ever really will get external reparation from people until they see us embracing our heritage and willing to live and to invest in our own preservation. Then I think that would loosen them up. But I think otherwise, it'll put us in a position waiting on them to do something that we'll never get it done. What do you think, Sister Mona?
Well, I think that is important. I think that it is important for us to know who we are and where we come from. I think it's important for us to embrace our cultural heritage. It certainly shows a level of pride. And for children, it certainly gives them a strong sense of self-identity.
Roots, the roots,
yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's important, as well as the sister was saying about youth and making sure, because self-knowledge is very important.
Right,
self-knowledge you lost.
Right. And then when we're doing this is a way of acquiring that self-knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Because as we look into our ancestry, then with our children, and I guess I was going to say, Julian, you're going to get those Columbus State University students out there, and Troy State University, and Columbus Tech, and Georgia Military College. I mean, CVCC. That needs to be a student network. They all should be at these events.
Right.
Yeah. And the department heads, the particularly psychology, the anthropology, the history departments. By the way, Mona, have you had any relationship contact with with some of those departments at Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, Morris Brown, Tuskegee, etc. I know Auburn is involved. I mean, how's our HBCUs doing, darling?
Well, we would love to collaborate with any of the local institutions, universities, colleges. We have collaborated with a few. Duke University is one, as well as North Carolina Central University.
Okay.
And the University of Georgia. But we would love to partner with the local universities. There are so many experiential learning opportunities for the students. We have so many opportunities, to partner with them in ways that we can partner with.
Right. In class assignments, and also I think maybe we need to have talk to our school board or whoever it is over curriculum, because I think our high school students they should be able to do a field trip out there to the African burial grounds. You know what I'm saying? During the school year, just like they go to the Columbus Museum. They should be able to go and see, and read about what that's all about. And I think that was spark, because I was just listening the other day, and this young lady was talking about how she felt when she went to school, and people were talking about their grandparents and their great grandparents, and she didn't know nobody but her mama, and didn't really know much about her mama's sisters or whatever, or her dad. In other words, she was talking about how empty she felt by not really being able to talk about her ancestry.
I can imagine that. I often wonder how different my life might have been if I would have been, exposed to, or if I would have had access to Pierce Chapel African Cemetery as a young child.
Right, right.
And so I just knowing that the history, seeing this cultural, this West African cultural heritage tradition at the cemetery and learning about it early on in life. I just wonder how that inspiration could have impacted my life early on as a young child.
No doubt about it. Of course, I knew about the cemetery, but I didn't. But in a child's way, I didn't know about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because we used to get baptized not too far from there, and always knew, but it just the magnitude of what took place. I did not grasp that, because at Pierce Chapel, where we also had church and family, the cemetery was right there at Pierce Chapel, and at that time there was not a church near Pierce Chapel. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, a lot of the Locust Hill, there was a cemetery right there. In other words, so because there was not a church that I know of that was affiliated with the African burial ground, that kind of put it outside the conscientiousness.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But
absolutely. So, I wanted to ask you, we recently discovered that there was an African American school in the community, and it was called the Pierce Chapel Colored School.
I didn't know about that.
To know if you knew about that.
I did not know about that. I knew, again, like I said, I knew at that time, because I know Pierce Chapel had a school. I mean, that's out there in Midland, but I did not know about a Pierce Chapel school. And where would that? Do you know where? We're going to look at that. Where was that located?
So we discovered it recently on a map from the National Archives, and it was located. It was on Pierce Chapel Road.
You know what? In my mind, I didn't want to say it, but I was saying to myself, I said, I bet they built that church there, the Pierce Chapel United Methodist Church there, because of that school proximity.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I know it had a different motivation. You know what I'm saying? Just like our cemetery, maybe the other cemetery was there as long as ours was, but our cemetery extended where the church is now. You follow what I'm saying? In the parking lot and all like that back in his original time, and so therefore I'm assuming that school was probably in proximity somewhere, and many times the schools were part of a church. I guess that's my point. The school building was also a church building. So I'm thinking that school probably, that probably was a church connected there in some kind of way.
Our research continues, but you are absolutely right. Oftentimes, where there was a school, an African American school, it also doubled as a house of worship.
Right, exactly.
And, a church house. And so we are still trying to understand more about the school. We were just delighted to find that information and to know, okay, there was a school in this community.
Right.
And as we understand, children, as far as Eupatoy, were being bused in for school there.
Right. Because I know my grandmother, who lived to be 100, she of course she went to the Pierce Chapel School. And matter of fact, I have a book on those schools, a lot of church schools too. But I remember her saying at one point you had to go to Atlanta to school if you wanted to go beyond, I think, the 5th grade or 6th grade, something like that. There was no high middle school, it wasn't no middle school or high school. You had to go to Atlanta. I mean, there was no local school beyond, like I say, elementary. Back in that day. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Because they had to. They don't know what school didn't go no further than 6th grade. I know that was pretty much it. I mean, and that the summers were set aside the way they are because they were working in the fields during the summer. So that's why they had to go to school. She said that the growing season was coincided with the school season. In other words, like that. So that's why they gave them, for example, I guess June, July, and August at that time, because those were growing seasons, and so that's why the school was connected in that fashion.
Okay.
So it's growing. But again, dear, I'm so delighted. I know we caught you by surprise. I kind of feel like nephew Tommy. We didn't make them spook calls, but I said I'm just gonna give her a try. So again, the event's Saturday, June 21st. I definitely want to try to be there for that one, and also June 19th at Pierce Chapel, and of course the 21st is going to be at Greater Shady Grove Baptist Church. And so, of course, Pastor Marcus Gibson is a dear friend of mine and a real good brother. And so I definitely feel at home there as well.
Well, we look forward to having you and the community join us. Join us on Thursday, June 19th, 11 a.m. at Pierce Chapel Methodist Church.
Global Methodist Church.
Yeah, Global Methodist, yes. Jerry Aiken is the pastor. Yes, is the pastor there. And he's been so gracious to host us for Juneteenth the past few years.
Okay.
And so he's been very gracious to host us there. And so we look forward to being there again with the community for a beautiful Freedom's Legacy at Pierce Chapel Juneteenth commemoration. And then on Saturday, the 21st, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Greater Shady Grove Missionary Baptist Church, 3012th Avenue, Columbus, Georgia. We look forward to being there with the Chipley Historical Center, National Religious Partnership for the Environment. Well, of course, pastors from around the country are affiliated with, and the Hamilton Hood Foundation, and bringing all of these grassroots organizations and folks across the state of Georgia together for this inaugural effort to connect and preserve Black heritage sites, stories, and legacies across the state.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and I think that this certainly is a time to elevate our light when some people trying to put out the lights, and so I think this is that we got to raise the heat. In these times, I think we need to put on the blanket of our self-awareness and our dignity, and because even in these dark days, the times that our ancestors went through, there's a lot of light these days compared to what they went through, and they went through it as champions for us because they lived so that we would be here today. So I think the least we can do is resurrect their methods and their ways of survival, and I guess that's the point that I like about it. I mean, the commemoration and the honoring, but my thing is that I want us to learn the lessons of survival so that we can bring those into modern times as well. So that's the way I kind of come at it, and I really appreciate the work that you're doing, and keep up the good work. And of course, we're going to try to keep the lights on here in Columbus, Georgia, Harris County area as best we can. So God bless you, cousin.
God bless you, and thank you. Thank you so much for amplifying the story. Thank you so much for amplifying Pierce Chapel African Cemetery, a rare cultural landmark. And thank you so much for the opportunity to share the work that we're doing and the work that we hope to continue doing.
Well, like I say, it's personal with me. so therefore, so again, I appreciate the thank you, but my thing is that it's my obligation and my accountability that drives me to do this, because I don't have no choice. And like I said, that I'll be neglecting the blood, sweat, and tears that our ancestors put in if I didn't do what I could to assure that their memory will forever ring loud in my heart and the heart of those whom I love as well. So God bless you and take care. And the next time you can doll yourself up, put your eyelashes on and put your wig on and your lipstick on, and then we'll be able to see your face.
All right, no wigs, no wigs, and no eyelashes, cousin.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, peace.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
That's my little cute cousin there, and she joined us today, and I'm glad that she answered the phone because we want to certainly get the message out about what's going on here and everything. And so Julian, you got some thoughts, and I do have one other person that called. I'm gonna try to see if I can get him back real quick.
Brother Scott. He said he was
Who's that? Brother Ignatin? Brother Scott, Brother LeMaine.
Yeah.
Brother LeMaine. Let me see if I can get Brother LeMaine back. If I can.
Brother, I think it's so very important. We can't overemphasize reparation at any event that we have
That's
we
right.
involved in. It has to be emphasized because without that, the miseducation that's going on in the country, and one person, number 47 has made it his business.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think I got Brother LeMaine. Brother LeMaine.
Yeah.
All right, just a bad time for you. I'm just trying to. We kept extending it a little bit. I wanted to at least give you a chance to say hello before we call it the evening.
How you doing, sir? Yeah. I was letting you know I was off my watch. I was able to come on.
Okay.
I wasn't able to really listen to what was going on.
Okay.
I had to do my watch,
But you can go. You can think about it. You can go on YouTube and go back and watch it.
Yeah. I did hear kind of like the ending part. I think I was talking about the black youth.
Right.
Right. And I do kind of want to speak on that if I got a couple of minutes.
Okay. Go right ahead.
So, I know you also are a fellow traveling man yourself, right?
That's right.
And so me and you had met a couple of years ago, a few years ago before my current situation where I'm now incarcerated in the feds.
Right.
And I was speaking, if I can remember correctly, I was speaking to you about the importance of those of us in the craft to internalize those lessons.
That part.
And what I spoke about specifically was about the importance of the setting moral.
Right.
And I was speaking about how, when I went back and looked at that particular degree in that lesson and broke down that word, the setting moral, and why that was the fatal blow to the Grand Master, was that the word setting means an environmental condition that influences a person's ways and actions.
That's right.
And then the word moral means to commit injury. So when we put these words together, the setting moral represents the injurious environmental conditions that affects a person's ways and behaviors. The reason why that's important to me is because when I returned home after doing 20 years of incarceration, what I seen in my community was that our young black men and women were being subjected to an untimely death. Because in today's culture, we have a death culture where death is pretty much promoted and glamorized in our food, in our music, in our entertainment, and every aspect of our black culture.
It's almost worshipped.
Exactly. And I feel like those of us that come out of these different schools of thought, whether you are a 5%er, whether you are Moore, whether you're a Mason, NOI, whatever school of thought you come out of, you've been given certain knowledge and degrees and placed in a certain position to be stewards of this earth to help aid and assist these young men and women by helping them to remove the setting moral from society. And I would like to go a little deeper than that, but I know you ain't got the time, man.
But again, we got next week.
Yes, sir.
But again, because my other thing about it is this, is that I tell people all the time is that truth has one root. So therefore, because different people put a different name on it, the truth is going to always be the truth, regardless. So therefore, and the key thing is that we should, just like we as a people, we got people in South America speaking Spanish. We got people of our origin, melanated origin, of the original people in China, in India, in Europe, all over the earth. And we should understand that we are the same people. That we, no matter what language we may speak, right? Like you say, whether it's Moor, whether it's original man, or whether it's Christian, or whether it's Hebrew, whether Ifa, I mean, whatever. The bottom line is that all of those are merely labels of that truth. And so therefore, we don't linger in those places. We go to the root of those things, and there we'll find we all should meet at the top of the pyramid, and as we evolve from the four corners of the pyramid. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. The goal, the overall objective is peace.
That's right.
That's our natural way of life.
That's right.
Because of what school you or what religion you come out of.
That's right.
The primary objective is peace.
Right. And if that school is not promoting oneness, then you know it is not promoting Allah.
Yes, sir.
So that's what it's all about. Like I tell many times is that, you have a house. Some houses, it don't matter what door you come in. You come in the back door, you come in a window, come in the side door, you come in the front door. But if you keep on walking to the middle of the house gonna be the middle of the house. There's a one spot. It ain't four middles of the house. It's one middle of the house. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, we come through those places, and so therefore, it puts us on a path. Make sure that we meet at that one spot. We meet at that Mecca. See what I'm saying? We meet at that Mecca. That's where we meet at, in the center of the house, just as on this earth. Okay, that we meet at the center.
Yes, sir.
And so therefore we should not be confused about, see, that's one of the reasons why, and not to go too deep on it, but I have a problem in the time where we identify too much with a land mass, because at one time, even though we give different names to different parts of the earth, it's not but one earth. So therefore, we got to go back to the original man that we call the human, okay? And that's who we are. We are the human, we are the minds of light. We are the enlightened ones. That's our identity. And that's a discussion for another time. I know some people say, well, it's this, it's that. No, we are people we are sun men. That's who we are. We're stars. And so therefore, we can't get caught up into Brazil, United States, India. No. I don't care what language you speak. The universe speaks one language. And no matter what language it is, you're going to have to interpret the universal language in whatever that language is. My thing is that we just need to learn how to speak universe. We need to learn how to speak divine language, which is the omniverse. Okay? So appreciate you, brother. Much love to you. And I expect that I want you to be a regular with us. I want you to bring some knowledge, some understanding and wisdom. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your heart. If you need 5 minutes to just do a little kuba, then fine. Either we can chop it up like we doing now. But at the end of the day, because I know that I just went to the prison earlier today, and we were talking about again the divine creator, the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-powerful, and the brothers were ready for it. And I know they don't have a lot of chewing to do because they got baby teeth, but but again they took it, and they know which direction the light come from as well. And so therefore, it was a good place. And I guess what I'm trying to say to you is that I know you're in that tomb, and you carrying a light in that cave that you're in. And you need to let us, talk to us a little bit, because you know, many of them when they come out, you know, we're trying to get them to light their torch while they're in there. Don't try to get out here and then go try to light your torch. You better start lighting wherever you are. When you get the light, you better try to get a light then. If you understand what I'm saying, right?
I'm definitely always on my duties.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Sure.
That's
I stand
right.
perpendicular to my square at all times.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And then circle it up, you know.
I definitely want to say I do appreciate you, everything that you're doing, you know, giving us a voice, you know what I mean? So definitely appreciate you for that. I just wanted to say that, and I'm glad I'm back in touch with you in contact, and I'm definitely going to be a regular.
No doubt. And you got somebody that you want to introduce, and they got something they want to say. You know,
I have just to let you know, I recently just started my own nonprofit fraternal order called the Moorish Knights of Redemption. So
okay,
I'm a builder with you on that at another time. And,
okay, mashallah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Peace and love, brother.
Peace, love, soul, power. So, like I say, we all over the country. Just want to let you know, we all over the country. I'm not going to tell you whatever, but we all over the world, really. So this is not just Columbus, Georgia. Hey, Sister Fletcher, Sister Amy, we're going to get you in next time now, sister. Give us a call. I think my number's in there somewhere. Give me a call when we're offline so we can talk. Cause we got to have this brother-sister talk. Cause we got to get the divine feminine and the divine masculine operating again in this lower universe that we're a part of, so that we can start again preparing our divine children for this divine work. So thank you so much, Sister Amy, and reach out to me so we can talk. So I want to hear your voice. Okay, Julian, I guess we don't had a good one tonight. One for what? Not Tune, you got some last words for us, brother?
Not a lot, brother. Just reparation gonna be there and self-knowledge all the time.
It's all the time, no doubt about it. Repair.
Somebody got to pay.
Yeah, but we gotta repair ourselves so we can. Yeah. So whether they do anything or not, we still gonna repair ourselves. We ain't gonna wait on them.
No, we're not waiting. We're just not gonna let them forget.
No. Every time we rise, that reminds them. But if we fail, then they'll forget us. You follow? If we fail, the thing about it, we cannot fail.
That's right.
God, we're working for God, so therefore
we want to be paid, brother.
That's right.
That free labor, we need to be paid. And the same thing they're asking for in Africa, same thing, reparation and in the diaspora, everywhere.
Right, and they're making sure that they hold on to what they got,
right?
And stop giving away. And that's one thing about it. We're going to talk about that also. We spend too much money outside of our community. We got to start businesses, and that's another thing too. Is there's somebody out there got a business, you need to call in here as well, so we can start directing people. Like I say, y'all need to buy our water.
Yeah, we just had a conversation. We just had a conversation earlier today about needing finances to improve a facility like the Liberty. And if we had that money that we owe, not that we, it's a loan, but what you owe for that many years of free labor, that cannot be allowed to be gotten away with. We got to use our own money too. We got to use our money. Two things don't stay together. Don't stay together long.
Dr. Nathan, you do know they ain't gonna never have enough to repay us. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, but we're gonna get what they got.
Okay. I just as long we know,
Right. But listen, they're not gonna have enough. But one thing about we have generational wealth.
Right. So therefore,
right.
So we gonna. But again, that also is like this.
Can't let it die, brother.
The stronger we are, the stronger our grip. If we weak, we ain't gonna have no strong grip.
Oh, see, that come back to self-knowledge.
That's right.
And miseducation.
Right, right. And that's what we talk about self-help. See, self-knowledge means self-help. You know, then we can hold people accountable for what they owe us.
But knowledge of self.
That's right.
Knowledge
That's
yourself,
right.
brother. We're
That's
talking
right.
about all the way back. Whether
That's
we
right.
Dr. Clark said, who you are, where you came from, and how you got here. That knowledge has to be known. You know, and it has to be taught by the parents.
And what you here to do?
Spread that knowledge of self.
That's right. Be fruitful and multiply.
Right.
That's right.
And see that knowledge of self is going to carry our kids and our family and our adults as well have no knowledge and have no interest in that. And number 47, making sure his people know we are cutting off the knowledge that we have ourselves in the education system and anywhere else that is talking about our history. And so we don't know that. And that person thinks about being there in that office forever, will make sure that knowledge is out. It's up to us as a people to get that knowledge out to our kids so they'll know what happened, how you got here, who you are, and ask for that reparation and keep asking and asking from all the West, that everywhere they had slaves. They would now, and with Juneteenth coming up, as I said, that should be the topic at any Juneteenth celebration. On top of that, not necessarily separate an awareness of Juneteenth awareness. That should be one of the major topics to the people there. We did not come here on our own, and we started with the other people having a head start on us. Even when a person comes to this country now, they still have a head start on us coming from another country.
Right.
A head start on us.
But I tell you, brother, my thing is, and of course, you know, we need it all, but my thing is this. What Juneteenth mean to me is that we got to free ourselves.
Absolutely.
Nobody else going to free us, and we can't depend on nobody else to do nothing for us that we won't do for ourselves. That's right. My vibe on it.
Yeah, and I remember what Moses said in the Bible, said everybody 40 and over not going into the promised land. So it has to be the youth.
Right.
They have to get that knowledge.
Provided that they get the knowledge of the ancestors.
They get the knowledge. It has to get the knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I say. Because otherwise, to be continued. To be continued.
To be continued.
Right.
Peace.
The peace. So, Brother Junior, what's your last thoughts on here for tonight?
Just organize 24/7.
You already know that. That's what I'm trying to say is that because, you know, like if they see, that's my thing is this. If we got the reparation right now, they will have it back by Saturday. So that's my problem. My thing is that we got to make sure that we are whole, you know, so that we can hold what belongs to us, you know. So because right now, you know, we don't even know what to do with it, and so we gotta, you know, if you're gonna plant some food, you can't plant it on a beach and you can't plant it on a rock. You got to move the rocks out the way, and so that's what we got to do now. We got to move the rocks out of their mind, brother.
Absolutely.
You got to move the rocks out of their mind, loosen up that soil, so we can, when we plant this seed, it'll grow. Otherwise, we can throw those seeds. But like I say,
my brother said the same. He said if we get that money, they'll be gone the next day.
That's what I'm trying to say. So we keeping it. We got to keep it real. Got to keep it real.
We have to have it.
Yeah, right. That's why I say internal reparations. We got to get the internal reparations. Once we start using our money the way we're supposed to, then we can. Then now we ain't gonna stop putting it on their mind, but we ain't not gonna waste no time depending on them to do what for us, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, for what we can do for ourselves. So take care, peace, soul, and power. A lot of love. Organize. Promote the Shusha Shimmeru Satawatu Zuri.
Peace, soul, love, with a little sprinkle of power. Good night.
All right. Hotel. Free the land. Praise the Lord. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. So, more to be.